The hospital smells like bleach and death. You're 12 years old, sitting on a plastic chair outside the intensive care unit. Your father is inside. He's been inside for 3 days. The doctors won't let you see him. Your mother left when you were 6. She said she couldn't watch your father destroy himself anymore. She never came back. Your father is a violinist. Was a violinist. Played in the National Orchestra until his hands started shaking. The disease has a medical name, but all you understand is that it stole his music. And when the music died, so did his will to live. The doctor walks out. He doesn't look at you. He looks at the wall behind you and says, "Your father passed an hour ago." You don't cry. You sit there holding the only thing he left you, a small recording device. Inside is a single track, 42. Minutes of him playing Paganini's Caprice? No. 24. You press play every night. It's the only proof he existed. But recordings don't pay rent. You move into a shelter, then the street. You learn to steal bread from delivery trucks. You learn to sleep with one eye open. You learn that hunger is louder than grief. One afternoon, you're standing outside a music academy, watching through the tall glass windows. Inside, a girl your age plays violin. She's terrible. Her bow scrapes the strings like nails on glass. But she has a teacher. She has parents sitting in the waiting room. She has a future. You press your palm against the cold glass. You want that, not the girl, not the family, the violin. That night you break in, the alarm doesn't go off because there is no alarm. Rich people don't expect poor kids to want violins. They expect them to want laptops. You take the cheapest one. The one in the back with scratches on the wood. You run 6 blocks before you stop to catch your breath. When you finally draw the bow across the strings, the sound is horrible. But it's yours. You teach yourself using free videos on library computers. Your fingers bleed, your shoulder aches. You don't care. For the first time since your father died, you feel like you're not disappearing. 3 months later, you're playing on the subway platform, a hat in front of you for coins. An old man stops. He listens for a full minute. Then he drops a $50 bill into your hat. He says you have a gift. You think maybe life is turning around? You're wrong. That night, you're walking home. The violin case slung over your shoulder. You're thinking about buying new strings. Maybe a tuner. You don't hear the van pull up behind you. A hand clamps over your mouth. Another grabs your arms. The world tilts. You try to scream, but the sound dies in your throat. A bag goes over your head. You're thrown into the back of the van. You kick. You twist. A voice, low and sharp, tells you to stop moving or they'll break your hands. You freeze. They don't want ransom. You realize this quickly. Because when you tell them you're nobody, that you live on the street, they laugh. One of them says, "Even. Better no one's going to look for you." Your chest tightens. You understand now. You're not a hostage. You're cargo. The van stops. You're dragged out, still blind, still choking on fear. They untie your legs and tell you to walk. You stumble. Forward, hands bound behind your back. You hear a metal door creak open. The air changes. It's colder, damper. You're pushed inside. The bag is ripped off your head. You're in a warehouse. Concrete floors, bare bulbs hanging from the ceiling. And surrounding you are 30 other kids, all your age, all terrified. Man steps forward. He's not tall, but he doesn't need to be. His presence fills the room like smoke. He has a scar running from his ear to his jaw. His eyes are flat, empty. He tells you that your old life is over. You've been recruited. Not for school, not for labor, for something else. He says you're going to be trained. And at the end of that training, you'll either be useful or you'll be dead. A boy near the front speaks up. He says his uncle is a judge. He says they can't do this. He says he'll report them. The man doesn't argue. He walks over, pulls a knife from his belt, and drives it into the boy's throat. Blood sprays across the concrete. The boy gurgles. Falls, stops moving. The man wipes the blade on his pants and looks at the rest of you. Anyone else have questions? Silence. He smiles. Welcome to the academy. The first week is designed to break you. You wake at 4 in the morning. You run until your legs give out. You're beaten if you stop. You're beaten if you cry. You're beaten if you look anyone in the eye. Food is rationed. 2 meals a day, just enough to keep you alive, not enough to think clearly. At night, they lock you in cells. 6 to a room, no light, no blankets, just cold metal and the sound of other kids sobbing. You don't sob. You can't afford. 2. Weakness here is a death sentence. On the 8th day, they hand you a gun. It's heavier than you expected. Instructor, a man with burn scars on his arms, shows you how to load it.
How to aim. That.
How to breathe before you pull the trigger. Then, he points to a mannequin at the far end of the range and says, "Shoot." You miss the first 5 times. Your hands shake. The recoil makes your wrist ache. The instructor slaps the back of your head. Again, you miss 3 more times. He slaps you. Harder again. This time you hit the target. Center mass? He nods. Better. Now do it 100 more times. You do by the end of the month. You don't flinch when you pull the trigger. You don't think about the mannequin as a person. It's just a target, just a shape. That's the first lesson. Dehumanization. The second lesson comes during hand-to-hand combat training. You're paired with a kid twice your size. He's been here longer. He knows the rules. He knows how to hurt you without killing you. He breaks your nose in the first 30 seconds. Blood pours down your face. You can't breathe through your mouth. You swing wildly, desperate, and catch him in the throat. He drops. The instructor pulls you off before you can finish him. He says you fight like a cornered animal. He says that's good. Animals survive. The third lesson is the hardest. Trust no. 1. You're put into squads. 5 kids per squad. You eat together, train together, sleep in the same cell. The instructors tell you that you're a team now. You need to rely on each other. It's a lie. One night they take 1 kid from each squad. They bring them back. The next morning, bruised, broken. They don't say what happened. But the message is clear. Loyalty here is temporary, conditional. Survival is individual still. Something strange happens. Despite the fear, despite the violence, bonds form. Not because you trust each other, but because you need each other. Your squad becomes your family. There's Mateo. Skinny, fast. He can pick any lock with a paperclip. He steals extra food from the kitchen and shares it when the instructors aren't looking. There's Carlos, built like a tank, quiet. He takes beatings meant for weaker kids. He never complains. There's Diego, paranoid, always watching the doors. He sleeps in shifts, waking every 2 hours. Because of him, your squad is never caught off guard during the night drills. And then there's you. They start calling you El Fantasma. It's the ghost, not because you're invisible, but because after every mission, after every kill, you forget. Your mind erases the details. It's not intentional. It's survival. Your brain protects you by deleting the trauma. At first it terrifies you. Then you realize it's a gift. You don't carry guilt. You don't hesitate. You just move forward. The instructors notice. They promote you. You become squad leader. One night, Mateo asks you what you remember about your life before this place. You tell him about your father, about the violin, about the recording you used to listen to every night. He asks if you still have it. You realize you don't. It was in your pocket when they took you. Somewhere along the way, it disappeared. You don't feel sad. You feel nothing. It scares you more than the violence. The final test comes 6 months into training. They load your squad into a truck, blindfolded, driven for hours. When the truck stops, you're in the middle of a jungle. Thick, dark, humid. The instructor hands you a map, a knife, and a single magazine of ammunition. He says there are 3 other squads in the jungle. Your mission is simple. Eliminate them. Last squad standing graduates. He leaves. For a moment, no one moves. Then, Diego says, "We need to find water." You agree? You move as a unit. Silent, efficient. Carlos takes point. Mateo watches the rear. Diego scans for traps. You navigate. 2 days in, you find the first squad. They're camped near a stream. Careless. Loud. You set up an ambush. Wait until nightfall, and you strike. It's over in 90 seconds. 5 bodies, no survivors. You don't feel proud. You don't feel guilty. You feel efficient. The second squad is smarter. They ambush you first. Carlos takes a bullet to the leg. He doesn't scream. He just falls. You drag him into cover. Mateo flanks left. Diego flanks right. You hold the center. The firefight lasts 10 minutes. When it's over, the second squad is dead. Carlos is bleeding out. You try to stop it. You press your hands against the wound. But the blood won't stop. He looks at you and says, "It's okay, Fantasma. You're going to make it." Then he closes his eyes. You leave his body there. The mission isn't over. The third squad finds you on the 4th day. They're desperate. Hungry. They attack without strategy. Pick them off one by one. The last one tries to surrender. Drops his weapon. Puts his hands up. Diego raises his gun. You tell him to wait. The kid is crying, begging. He says he doesn't want to die. Diego shoots him anyway. You don't stop him, eh? Helicopter arrives the next morning. The instructor steps out. Counts. 3 of you left. He nods. Welcome to the cartel. You're no longer a recruit. You're an asset. The missions start immediately. First, they're simple. Deliver a package. Intimidate a debtor. Break a few bones. Then they escalate. You're sent to eliminate a rival's accountant. He's eating breakfast in a crowded cafe. You walk in, sit 2 tables away, wait until he's alone. Then you inject him with a needle. Potassium chloride. A heart attack 30 seconds later. You're gone before anyone notices. The next target is a politician. Corrupt. Loud. He's holding a press conference. You're on a rooftop 300 meters away. 1 shot. Clean. He drops mid-sentence. By the time security realizes what happened, you're already in a different city. You become the cartel's scalpel. Precise, invisible, deadly. Your squad is deployed together. Mateo handles logistics. Diego handles surveillance. You handle execution. 4. 2 years, you're unstoppable. Then Mateo makes a mistake. He tells you he wants out. Says he's saved enough money. Says he's going to disappear. Start over. Maybe open a small shop somewhere quiet. You tell him he's insane. That no one leaves. That the only retirement plan here is a bullet. He smiles. Says he knows. But he has to try. You beg him not to. You tell him to wait. To think. But he's already decided. 2 days later, your phone rings. It's your handler. Says Mateo has been flagged as a traitor. Says he stole money. Says he needs to be dealt with. He says, "You're the one who has to do it." Your hands go numb. You find Mateo at the cemetery. He's visiting his mother's grave. He doesn't run when he sees you. Just turns and smiles. "I knew they'd send you." Raise your gun. Your hand is shaking. For the first time in years, you hesitate. Mateo kneels. He says it's okay. Says he'd rather it be you than someone who'll make it hurt. You pull the trigger. The sound echoes. He falls. You stand there, staring at his body, waiting for the memory to fade. Waiting for your brain to erase it like it always does. But this time you remember everything. The hospital. The violin. Your father's recording, the kidnapping, the training, the kills. All of it floods back. Tidal wave of guilt and grief and rage. You fall to your knees. You scream, but no sound comes out. That night you buy a violin, a real one, expensive, beautiful. You take it to your apartment, sit on the floor, draw the bow across the strings. The sound is perfect, but it doesn't bring your father back. It doesn't erase the blood. It doesn't make you feel human again. You play anyway, for hours, for days, ignoring calls from your handler, ignoring Diego, ignoring the world until the world comes for you. Your phone buzzes. A new mission. High priority. Target, a diplomat's car. Plant the explosives. Detonate remotely. Simple. You do it. You place the charges. You press the button. The car explodes. You think it's over. You tell Diego you need the night off. There's a concert. A violinist from Vienna. You want to see it? It's just once. Diego laughs. Says you're getting soft, but he agrees. You sit in the back row of the theater. The violinist plays Paganini. The same piece your father loved. You close your eyes. For a moment you're 12 again, sitting outside the hospital. Holding the recorder, then your phone vibrates. A text from an unknown number. You killed the wrong car. Your blood goes cold. You check the news. The diplomat is alive, but his driver isn't. Neither is the child in the back seat. You read further. The target wasn't the diplomat. It was an internal hit. Cartel power play. And your squad was the scapegoat. You try calling Diego? No answer. You try Mateo's old number? Nothing. You run. Outside the theater, men are waiting. You recognize their faces. Former colleagues, they're not here to talk. You fight, you run, you steal a car, they follow. Bullets shatter glass, you swerve through traffic, your training takes over, one by one you lose them. But you know it's temporary? They'll find you again. You drive to the coast. The ocean stretches out like a dark mirror. You think about stopping, about turning around, about fighting back, then you see it. A child on the road. A ball rolling into the street. Could swerve, could save yourself, but you don't. You turn the wheel. The car flips, crashes through the guardrail, falls in the final second before impact. You hear it faint, distant, the sound of a violin. Your father's recording, the one you thought you lost, it was inside you all along. The car hits the water. The world goes silent, and for the first time in years, you feel peace. That's all for today. Similar videos in the future. Subscribe.